Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to Movie Files. Elliott here. And as you guys can see in the title, the description of the video is going to be a spoiler review for Justice League. So if you guys saw our video on Thursday, today's Sunday, I said in the video on Thursday that we did our non-spoiler review of Justice League that I want to do a video on this topic, on the spoilers and things I liked and didn't like, and get more in depth with that. But also just want to make this video to talk about just kind of DC in general, just my point of view, what I want to see from the company, what films I'm excited for, and just kind of my overall thoughts of all the stuff that went down over the weekend as far as the box office and things to come. So I just wanted to try that out. One of my first videos. You know, we do a lot of reviews on TV and films, but I also want to just kind of have a discussion with this particular video. So again, this is a spoiler review for Justice League. I will be talking about spoilers, but also want to leave the second half of the video to just an open discussion in the comment section for you guys to join in as well. So with that being said, let's just jump right into my review here on the spoiler version of Justice League. So before I kind of get into that, like I said, I want this video to be an open discussion, but I just want to let you guys know, because I really didn't talk about it that much on Thursday, but I'm a DC fan. I'm a Marvel fan. I'm a comic book fan. I'm a fan of film. So going into this movie, I had certain things that I wanted, which it delivered, and some things it didn't deliver on. But overall, I as you guys saw the video on Thursday, myself and Morgan enjoyed the film. But you know, overall, I just want to say, you know, my background with DC, I love everything that they've delivered so far, minus Suicide Squad. But Man of Steel, to me, is a great film. BVS, at first, I had my initial reservations. You know, I was kind of split between what I saw, but kind of like a lot of Zack Snyder's films, like Dawn of the Dead, even Watchmen, things like that. It took me a minute to kind of, really appreciate what he kind of, it's his vision. I think a lot of the times, and I'm guilty of this myself, when we look at our favorite characters and we remember them as kids, or just, remember them in media that we've seen on television or comics, that's not our definitive version of the character. But we have to keep in mind, these are creative people, that this is their version. This is the story they want to tell. So we have to appreciate that, just like the same way, we fell in love with the characters because of the certain way they were written. But there's so many iterations of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, hell, Marvel people, Marvel characters. There's so many different versions of them. We just have to be open to the version that they are giving us. And ultimately, I'm not saying that, just because it's a different cut, you have to appreciate it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'm not a fan that's going to be like, that's not my Batman. Batman's killing people. There's many comics of Batman killing, with BVS. People didn't like that he was, took out people in that movie. Or even in Men of Steel, that Superman kills Zod. It's just like, there's been many times that people have died in their comics and in certain media that's been out there. So I'm not a person that's going to just say that's not the person I read in the books and not appreciate what the person that created this new version of character that we love, and just appreciate what they have to do. So, I just wanted to say, I am a fan of DC, but I can also look at a film and say, as someone that I went to school for film and video, and I'm not a director or a writer by any means, but I have had time directing a movie, writing a movie, editing a movie, so I can also look at a film and see certain flaws that it may have. But, I just want to point that out there. I'm not just saying things just because how I feel, but I actually, appreciate these characters, and I can also see where people can be confused with certain things that happen in a movie. They might not be the biggest Flash fan or know anything about Aquaman or Wonder Woman or any of those characters. So with that being said, let's just jump right into things I didn't really enjoy. Again, this is a spoilers review, so things that I didn't really like about the film was the CGI at times didn't work. This is a big budget film. I think it's been reported that they spent, and this includes the reshoots, but doesn't include the promotions and the advertising, but about $300 million for this film. And they did a great job on a lot of the CGI. A lot of the battle scenes were really well done, because this is a green screen fest, as it should be. A lot of fantastical characters, a lot of things that are going on that require CGI. But the CGI at times, in particularly specifically Superman, and this is kind of a discussion I want to have with you guys. Again, leave your comments below, but it's a gift and a curse when it comes to social media and internet and things we know about movies and just everything, things we know about everything in life. But coming into this movie, knowing the controversy behind Henry Cavill, if you guys aren't familiar with it, he's shooting Mission Impossible 6, and his character has a mustache, which I don't know why it's a big deal. His character has to have a mustache in this film. Maybe they'll discuss that in Mission Impossible 6, that his mustache is pivotal to the role. But anyway, he has his mustache, and Paramount Pictures, who's responsible for Mission Impossible 6, which is coming out next year, which I'm a fan of, by the way. But they said that, hey, you can do your reshoots for Justice League, but you have to keep the mustache. And in doing so, Warner Brothers was a whole thing about how is this going to work. So, it was revealed that Warner Brothers was just going to CGI it, digitally remove it, and kind of go on from that. Because, again, Mission Possible executives and Paramount Pictures executives said we are not going to, he's not going to take his mustache out because it's going to affect our film. So, they don't want to, I guess they said it's easier to remove something via CGI and special effects versus adding something. So regardless, to me, that didn't work. Even if he would have never had his mustache and then maybe going into Mission Impossible 6, I would have noticed it. But it was times, the very beginning of the movie, they have Superman come in and do this little moment where he's talking to these kids, recording them on, I don't know, their phone or a camera. And he's just talking about what he likes about humans and why he saves people and why he's Superman. Just having those moments that you might have seen in comics where Superman is interacting with the citizens and just having those moments. So, but the CGI on his lip, it just looked like his mouth was moving. It's obviously, you can tell it was CGI. And it was moments throughout the movie where you can tell that there were reshoots being done and that Henry Cavill was brought to set, and that mustache CGI did not work for me. Again, that's kind of nitpicking, because there's probably so many movies that have removed things. Every movie now has people wearing prosthetics and wigs and eye contact. There's so many things that goes into the production of a film that if we didn't know about it, we might not even notice it. But for me, consciously knowing in the back of my mind that they did that, it was very noticeable to me. But I would love to know if you guys noticed the CGI effect. Again, it didn't bother me, but I knew about it. But again, that goes into the weaker point of the film of some of the CGI. Henry Cavill's mustache. Steppenwolf, too video game-ish look. I know that's been a common theme. A lot of people have said that, so I'm not recycling what they're saying, but it did look like a video game. I did not like the CGI. I would have much rather preferred a practical effect, having someone of a bigger stature playing that character. But I thought that the CGI on Steppenwolf, his sword, his axe, was pretty awesome, and it was big stature. But I thought they could have went with practical effects on that. And again, there's just little things throughout the movie. The CGI Cyborg. If you guys remember the initial trailer, it looked really kind of like they were obviously working on it, and I knew they were going to do that when the film came out. It was going to be a lot better. But there was moments where obviously you have half his face being CGI'd and the other half is his. It was kind of off-putting at points. Again, didn't take me out of the film, but it was something that I noticed as a weaker point as far as the CGI goes. Because again, $300 million is a lot of money. And you would hope that, the production of this film was about 7 to 8 months. They had additional reshoots, that they would iron all those issues out. But again, it didn't detract from the film or overall score. But it was just, again, these are just a list of things that didn't work for me. So with that, my second thing that I really did enjoy. Now, the outcome of Superman's return was one of the best moments for me in the entire movie. And honestly, just as a comic book fan, and especially in these films on Marvel, DC, and Fox, Superman's return, and I'll talk about this later as my things I did like, was phenomenal. But again, the thing I didn't like is how they went about bringing back, resurrecting Superman. Didn't really work. The scene with Cyborg and Flash digging his grave out, I thought could have been completely taken out. Again, it didn't bother me that the black suit and the beard Superman wasn't in it. It didn't really, because it wouldn't have really fit, because how would he have gotten his suit back? I guess they didn't really talk about how he did get his suit back. They didn't show that scene at all. But anyway, I thought that they could have handled it better as far as bringing Superman back. And then the whole mother box being a part of it. I thought it was going to be the Kodaks that woke up Superman. But again, because in BVS, they really didn't. They showed the dirt rising, but why show that if he was dead, and I don't even know. I guess that was just a kind of a nod to the fans, or just kind of a Easter. I don't know what it was, because they didn't really address why the dirt raised from his grave. I thought that Darkseid might have had something to do with it, but ultimately it didn't. So the whole package of how he was returned didn't really work for me, but the result of him returning was great. So another thing didn't work for me in the film was this is kind of a 50-50. So Bruce Wayne worked to a degree, but I enjoyed the Bruce Wayne that we got in BVS a little bit more. And this just kind of goes into, which I'll talk about later, the tone of the film, and kind of the rewrites and the lightheartedness they want to do. It just didn't work for me. Some of the humor that Batman did, and just the overall, we got more Batman in this movie, which we should do, because it was dealing with parademons and Steppenwolf. Bruce Wayne is going to fight a parademon without his bat suit and everything, but I didn't like the portrayal so much as I did in BVS. So Bruce Wayne didn't really work for me that much. And then also, kind of wrapping up things that didn't work, was the 2-hour cut. Now, it worked in the sense of, we got what we got. We moved fast. We introduced the characters. Didn't really get a lot of backstory, which was okay because I'm familiar with the characters. But again, for people that aren't so familiar, and maybe didn't work for them, that where is Aquaman going? Why did Flash get his powers? Cyborg, what was he a football? His mom? Why is he talking about his mom? We don't even know his mom. So I get it, but as a fan, I'm familiar with their backstory, and just it worked with me. It's kind of like game. I want to keep this to Justice League, but kind of like last season of Game of Thrones, we moved fast. We went from point A to point B super quick within the episodes, where earlier seasons it took a couple different episodes to get to where they needed to go. So this film moved really, really quick, which can be a plus. Again, from a business, I'm not getting money from DC, so I'm just saying I understand from a business perspective, the less of your running time, the more screen time you get, the more butts in the seats you get, the more you can see the movie, which I think they think that affected, BVS being 2.5 hours. A lot of people, they couldn't get as many screens, couldn't get as many, BVS couldn't get out as many screens as possible because it was such a long running time. But again, and this is going to happen, this is kind of the things I don't like. It's fun to get director's cut. I have every version of Blade Runner and have different versions of Lord of the Rings and whatnot. But, when you it's kind of getting to a point where you're starting to expect these director's cut. Just put the stuff in the film. I know that, and I'll talk about this later in the video as far as DC's executives and everything. But to tell a director and a writer, okay, I want this movie to, it's been rumored, and I think it's been confirmed that yes, the CEO of Warner Brothers went to the creators of Justice League, Joss Whedon, Zack Snyder, writers, all the people that's involved in making this movie, that I'm mandating a 2-hour cut because of one of the backlashes of BVS was that it was too long, which is kind of weird because the theatrical or the director's edition, people enjoyed that more. It was 3 hours, so it's just weird. But anyway, I thought the 2-hour cut, it didn't hurt the film, but just knowing more about the behind the scenes things, to me, it was like they could have did more. They could have had 30 minutes more of this film talking about Cyborg's being a football player, losing his mom, coming about. I mean, they showed us in BVS a little clip, which timeline doesn't really work well because he was Cyborg in the movie, but they talked about he was created. The timeline didn't work for me with Cyborg when they showed the little clip in BVS. It didn't really line up, but you could have got more Cyborg. And another thing I want to let you guys know, I'm gonna link something that I read today on the internet. As you guys know, today's Sunday, so there's been so many things out there with the backstory of this movie being created, which is this interesting story within itself. But I'm gonna put a link in here as far as things that's been rumored, I guess you can say, that was initially in Zack Snyder's cut that was ultimately taken out. But things like Iris West not being in the film, having a pretty cool scene with Barry Allen saving her, and potentially Darkseid was in the film. So again, this 2-hour cut, and again, this is just me knowing what's going on behind the film. Maybe if I went into this not knowing anything, it was like, okay, this is a 2-hour movie, it moved quick, and I'm familiar with the characters, but not knowing what I knew about certain things that was cut out of the film, it could have worked for the film. It would have been great to have those 20 or 30 minutes of additional backstory and filling out certain things in the plot hole that was kind of missing, which again, for me, I enjoyed the film, but I can understand why some people didn't, because they did leave out a lot of, it's kind of the BVS scenario where they took out things just to, to not get into that. It really sucks to me as someone that has made a movie and shot a movie and edited a movie. When you make this movie and they take all of this out, they give you the keys to the car, but then they're sitting in the passenger seat telling you how to drive and where to make your left and right turns and get into your destination. So it's really frustrating as someone that is creative and has made, movies and things like that. Not big budget movies, kind of student films when I went to college and whatnot. But it does really kind of suck as a creative seeing that people are limited. Warner Brothers always, talks about how they're a director-driven company, but David Ayer got the short end of the stick. Zack Snyder's kind of getting the back end. Even Joss Whedon has come out this weekend that people are writing a petition to have Zack Snyder's cut released. So it's just crazy that Warner Brothers just puts themselves in this bubble where it's just like their execs are just not connecting with the audience, and they just want to, they're reactionary. They want to say, okay, we want more comedy, throw it in the movie. It's just really frustrating. Again, that some of the things I didn't like was that 2-hour cut could have been extended. Another thing that didn't really work was, and I'm a big fan of Joss Whedon. Avengers, Buffy, a lot of his things that he's created, he's great at what he does well. And I thought that Joss Whedon he added his flavor and he added some lines for those that aren't familiar. Initially, before Zack Snyder had to part away from the film with the family tragedy, Joss Whedon was already on record to just do some rewrites, not necessarily direct the film, but do some rewrites. But unfortunately, Zack Snyder had to part away from the film, and he actually stepped in to shoot those rewrites that he'd written, and also to put them on camera. So to me, and this, again, knowing what I know, if you've seen online now, they have these shots from the trailer versus the film, and you can see where Joss Whedon has made his touches, which worked in some points, some of the humor, but also some of his color palettes didn't work as well as the initial cut. And again, this film did a good job of having two directors. You really can't tell, but there are little moments where you can tell Joss Whedon did his reshoots and did his recut and had a little moment with some dialogue that didn't work at times. So again, this is just things that didn't work. This list right here that I'm going over, things that didn't work, was the Joss Whedon tone, the shift, didn't work at all times. Worked in some points, but not all points. But it was to the point that it made the list of things that didn't work for me ultimately. So those are just things, and spoiler filled again, that I want to touch on that didn't really work for me in the film. But now I want to kind of talk about the pluses, the thing that made me come out of the film with a big smile on my face, the moments in the movies that had me just super excited. So with that being said, just a little thing, but connections. This is it's been stated that this is kind of a 3-part type of story with Man of Steel, BVS, and now Justice League. It was nice to see connections throughout that, especially Superman story. The little line from BVS, do you bleed to Bruce Wayne or Batman, throwing him down, kind of calling back to that moment. Things like that worked for me. Some other more pivotal parts in the movie was Superman fighting the Justice League. And you read them in the comics, you've seen them on TV, on animated films, but seeing it on the big screen, especially characters I love. I love the portrayal. I'm not a huge Superman fan, as you guys can see. I'm more of a Batman fan. I love Wonder Woman, love the Flash, but initially, growing up, I was, more. I wasn't a Bat or Superman fan at all, because I just thought that he was too powerful. I like to relate to certain characters. The older I got, and I'll get to this point, but the older I got, I appreciated Superman more. But more in particularly, Henry Cavill's portrayal of Superman has been, for me, he's my Superman. I don't want to offend anyone. Christopher Reeves is great, and Smallville and all that different stuff that we got in the years. But for me, Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder's portrayal of Superman has been phenomenal. We got a shift in him in this movie, more lighter. And if Matthew Vaughn takes the torch to do Man of Steel 2, then we might even get an even different version of him. But I really have enjoyed the character Superman that we got. And so the fight between Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Cyborg was just a moment that's just this made me from ear to ear just super happy. But seeing Superman react to Flash, thinking, the fastest man alive, he is the fastest man alive. But Superman looking at Flash running by him, just tossing everyone aside, and having that moment was so great. I mean, even if you're not a fan of comic books, you have to just knowing that. I mean, obviously, if you watch film, you know that, okay, this guy's super fast, and Superman can obviously see him and no one else can. That tells you there that Superman is a badass, dude. So that moment there, the Superman versus the League, was just so cool. Which also kind of goes into another thing I really enjoyed was Superman in this movie worked really well, minus the return, the way they brought him back. But even the moments where Superman was absent from the screen, the way that the world mourned Superman's death worked well. That first 2-3 minute. Another thing about Zack Snyder, like I say, he doesn't get a lot of credit. Number one, he's casted all these characters. I think people forget that he casted Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, Ray Fish. He casted Henry Cavill. He brought all these wonderful, phenomenal actors, even to Man of Steel. General Zod being casted, Russell Crowe. I mean, he does a phenomenal job casting his movies, but the way his opening credit scenes are always great. BVS, Man of Steel, opening on Krypton and showing that big battle. And in this movie, nothing too fantastical, nothing too crazy, but just showing the world where it is that crime has risen, and across the world, the crime has risen. I thought that was a really good montage, really good song too to open the movie. Another thing that worked for me, and this is probably one of the best moments of any film, which was the end credits. Number one, the first end credit showing Superman versus Flash. We've seen it a lot on in the comic books, and them racing each other around the world, around the galaxy at times. But seeing it on film was just a great little fan moment. Again, there was a lot of fan moments, and again, just moments you should be able to appreciate. You knew that Superman was super fast and can fly, and within Justice League, even if you've never seen any other films, but knowing that Barry Allen's character is super fast, so just seeing that. If you're not a fan and don't even understand the content of what's going on the screen, it's still cool to see that little funny moment. But the second one, the second post-credit scene is a fan moment. Seeing Deathstroke, and this goes back to just knowing more that you know about the screen, behind the scenes stuff. So, a couple months ago, it was revealed that Joe Manganiello's character, Deathstroke, wasn't going to be in the movie because almost about a year ago, they had Zack Snyder put out a post where he's drawing sketches of Deathstroke and Lex Luthor meeting each other. And also, before that, you had Ben Affleck post something on his social media account showing they shot something for Deathstroke. So, and then it came out that he wasn't going to be in the movie. So that moment when we see Deathstroke take off his helmet is Joe Manganiello, and then Lex Luthor playing a little bit more calmer Lex Luthor, a little bit more menacing Lex Luthor. And then him saying creating a league of their own. Like, come on. That is a fan moment. That if you're a fan of DC and just fan of comics, that is just ridiculous. Because is that Injustice? Is that Legion of Doom? We'll get Reverse Flash and get all the arch villains of our main characters, our heroes, on the screen. Like, come on. You cannot tell me that didn't just get you excited for the future to come. So that post-credit scene was phenomenal. Alrighty, so some other moments that really worked for me as well is unexpected cameo. it was said at one point that we were going to get a Green Lantern, and they didn't specify which one it was, but seeing that battle between the Amazonians and Atlantis, and it looked like Shazam at one point, but definitely a Green Lantern cameo was pretty awesome. Some other things that worked: Justice League versus Steppenwolf at the end of the movie, that worked really well. Having Superman come in at the end was phenomenal, and just how easy it was for Superman to fight. And we also got Superman the Ice Breath, which is super cool. But Steppenwolf, like I said, the CGI didn't work for me, but Steppenwolf, the point of the villain, he didn't have to be too methodical or be super intellectual. I just thought that it worked for this film. Again, this is called the Justice League, so we want to see a movie seeing the league come together, and we did that. So I thought the villain worked to that point. Again, Wonder Woman, awesome. Can't say nothing more about how just phenomenal Gal has brought Wonder Woman to the screen. Just really worked really well in this film, and excited for more films to come with her. Again, like I said, I didn't like the Bruce Wayne performance in this one, but Batman was super cool. Seeing him fight the parademons was something we've never seen on the big screen, and him interacting with Wonder Woman, having that tension with her that worked really well. Again, Superman was everyone's talking about the Flash and Wonder Woman, but Superman really, for me, was great. I loved every moment that he was in, minus the way that he was brought back, but whenever he was on screen, and minus the mustache issue, I thought Superman was phenomenal in this movie. And then also too, introducing Flash and Aquaman and Cyborg, I thought was handled pretty well. Again, me knowing what I know about the characters, I didn't really need that much backstory. Again, I can understand why people might have not appreciated it. They wanted more from the characters, and I can understand that. But for me, I really did like the introduction to these characters, a proper introduction, because again, in BVS, it was a very small sample, very small, and kind of silly a way to bring them into the universe. But this film really worked. Bringing them in, and really in particular, with Cyborg, again, it could have been more backstory, but again, he'll potentially get his own movie in the future, as well as Flash, getting Flashpoint, all of that. But I thought Aquaman, again, we got Atlantis, which will look beautiful. We didn't really get too much context on was that his first time there. He's been there many more times before. Him and Mara's relationship, got a little hints of that, but not a full explanation, which worked because to me, I saw Aquaman in this movie as Wonder Woman was in BVS, as far as, we got just enough to want more because it came out in 2016 and we got a movie a year later. Kind of the same thing with Aquaman. We got him in November of 2017 and we're going to see him next year in 2018. So I thought that he played the same character as Diana Prince did in Batman vs Superman, where you see this really awesome character and you want to know more about him. And obviously, they as Wonder Woman fought Doomsday, we got Aquaman fighting Steppenwolf, which is super cool, and I'm excited about his film. So Those are just some things I really enjoy about the film. Getting more in particular from what I was talking about with my non-spoiler review, those are just things I didn't like and what I did enjoy. So this particular spot of the video, I just want to get you guys' I want to get some, you guys' interaction in the comment section on some questions I have from the film. For me, the Batman versus Superman, where we see Flash talking to Bruce Wayne about getting Lois Lane, which they answered to a degree, but do you guys think that's going to be talked about more? Is that more of a Flashpoint type of storyline where we might see that that scene again, or do you guys think they addressed that question? As well as, as I talked about the dirt rising on Superman's grave, do you guys think that was that just a moment that they didn't address, or you guys feel like they did? Also, the mother boxes, what happened to him at the end of the movie? Clark being brought back, do you guys think that they handled that well? Again, we obviously Superman's back, but in BVS, they established that they had a funeral for Clark. His name was in the paper as someone that died during the tragedy of BVS. So I just want to know, do you guys think that they're going to address that, or did we get, is it just one of those things as a comic book fan you just kind of sweep under the rug? So also I wanted to know how you guys felt about Steppenwolf as well as Darkseid. Did you guys, obviously I want to see Darkseid, and those that are familiar with Darkseid, he's not to bring in Marvel, but he's the Thanos of the DC world as far as that, that character that has just so much power. Did you guys want to see that? And do you guys also think that was Darkseid that pulled Steppenwolf up through the boom tube? Because obviously he didn't accomplish his mission, which another thing about Steppenwolf, I guess, his mission was to have this power. I just want to know what you guys think about the whole Steppenwolf, Darkseid, mother box. I just want to kind of I want to know what you guys thought about that. So, on to things that what to look forward to with DC. So in the next year or so, or 2 years, we're getting Aquaman in December. We're getting Shazam in April 2019, and then Wonder Woman 2019 in November. So that's what we can expect, and I'm excited about every single one of them, and particularly with Aquaman and Wonder Woman. And interested to see where Shazam falls in the DC universe. It's been said that it's kind of an else world. It's going to be connected to DC, so it'll be interesting to see the more, obviously, because DC cannot control the media. We'll see where this movie eventually lands, or is it they're going to keep it a surprise? It'll be interesting to see what Shazam has to offer to us in 2019. Now, personally, what I would like to see after those 3 movies, get Man of Steel on the books, get Batman on the books. Again, the Ben Affleck, is he going to come? Is he going to go? I don't care at this point. I just want to see, Batman on the screen having his moments. And Matt Reeves is a great director, so I'm excited to see what's going on there. Go ahead and announce Flashpoint with the Justice League characters involved. It's already been rumored that Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa will be in the film, but I want to see Cyborg and Batman and Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne. Go ahead and put that in an announcement rail in the books, and then give us our Justice League 2. Lex Luthor, that scene. I hope this movie, as of right now, again, I'm recording this on Sunday. It didn't make over $100 million, but I hope that this movie has legs and can get the money they were looking for. But I really want to see Justice League 2, because that comment of less like a league of our own, again, Legion of Doom, Injustice, there's so many possibilities with a Justice League 2. So those are things I'm excited for and things I would like to see. Again, leave your comments below on things that you guys are excited for. And then wrapping up the video here, again, I would love to get you guys' opinion on DC. I really want DC to just kind of to shift the narrative. Right now, it's like they're very reactionary. Last year when they had Justice League shooting, they invite the critics to their set to kind of show them, hey guys, we got some lighter things going on. We got some jokes here. We got some funny moments. So I just really want DC to just gather their thoughts together. Stop just throwing out all news. Because again, I know in Hollywood, any media is good media, whether it's rumors of this, bad or good. It's just like, I just really want them to take control of what's going on in their production. Because again, not making this a Marvel versus DC thing, but Marvel's has had its hiccups in the last few years, with Edward Norton being replaced as the Hulk with Mark Ruffalo. We've had Edgar Wright leave Ant-Man. You've had little things that necessarily could have been a bad thing, but they find a way to shift to the good things. Hey guys, we got Infinity Wars, we got all these things coming on. They control their narrative. Where I think DC, a story comes out about Ben Affleck and it kind of ruins the momentum that they have going with Wonder Woman. Or you have, this director's coming in and do Nightwing, and Joss Whedon's doing Batgirl. It's just like The Rock is doing Black Adam in 2030. It's just like, I wish they would control their narrative and kind of take a hold of that. And I know Jeff Johns was brought in because he's a great writer with comics, but Kevin Feige is by far the leading force of the success of Marvel. Other, obviously the movies, the directors, the actors, everything that's created between is a collaborative type of thing. But Kevin Feige has a vision. I want Jeff Johns or someone in DC to take their vision, and just go with it. I know executives give you, finance you the money, but you guys have to. I just want DC to go ahead and become that director-driven company that they say that they are. So again, I know that the critics right now, I think the movie stands at 39. I'm the type of person that if there is a movie that I'm a little bit on the fence about, I'll check out some of my people on YouTube that I like to watch on their reviews and read a couple Rotten Tomatoes scores. But at the end of the day, if I'm excited about a film, I'm gonna go see it, and hopefully you guys are the same way. I know that movies are expensive, especially when you see 3D IMAX and you got family and friends you're going with. It can be very expensive, and I know sometimes people really do look at Rotten Tomatoes as something that can sway their decision to see a movie or not. But again, I hope you guys that are DC fans aren't affected by the reviews, because again, that's just people's opinion. They might not be. Again, I know as someone, I'll take myself out of the DC fan base. For someone that's not a fan, might not understand who these characters are and might not be interested. So again, I just wish that DC wouldn't be so reactionary to, okay, the critics want a comedy, let's throw some comedy. Okay, the critics thought it was too long of a movie, let's shorten it down. So again, I just wish they would take control of their narrative and just kind of control the good and take control of the bad. And Ben Affleck for himself, just speak up, just say, hey, I don't want to be Batman, and that's it. Or I do want to be Batman. So I just wish they would just take control and just give us the great content they've given us so far, and just continue with that momentum. So again, I would like to know you guys' thoughts. We're going to continue to do reviews, obviously, but I would like to know if you guys would like to give my thoughts more on certain things that go on with Marvel, DC, and other films and TV shows. So I want to try that out. So I appreciate you guys giving me the chance to get my thoughts out about DC, and as well as my review here. So with that being said, again, go ahead and like and share this video. Go ahead and comment. Be very nice to each other. I know we got DC fans and Marvel fans get very passionate about this, but just be respectful. So go ahead and leave your comments below, and then as well as follow us on social media. We love to continue the conversation on those outlets. We're on Twitter at Movie Files Live, and we're on Instagram at Movie Files. So go ahead and follow us, and let's have some conversations there, guys. So again, thanks for tuning in to this spoiler review of things I enjoyed about Justice League and things I didn't really like, and also just kind of the state of mind I'm in with DC and things I would like to see in the future. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again shortly. Hey guys, if you were a fan of that video, go ahead and like and share this video for me, as well as check out our review for Justice League, the non-spoiler, and then the video we just did, the spoiler review. Check that out. And then go ahead and check out our TV shows reviews. And then once you guys have just gobbled all that awesome content in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. And we look forward to seeing you guys again shortly. Take care.